The proposal process, like the bid process, when it's formal over $50,000, we anticipate spending more than $50,000. We'll advertise it. We'll go through our notification process. We'll request the Commissioner's Court to review the specifications and approve them before we release the specifications to allow them to have transparency there. And it's very complicated. We use the process where we have evaluation teams that are reviewing every single proposal. So a team approach is used versus a single person reviewing a low bid. But that's important for you because we think a group makes a better decision than one. So they all review the proposals independently. They provide their recommendations back. We formalize those in our office. We allow each proposer to present to Dallas County. Unlike some organizations, we don't shortlist a proposer. We allow everybody that submits a proposal to have at least 30 minutes with our team to review the proposal, and for you to have questions and answers and present yourself to our team. So that process is usually a solution-based process of the proposal where we have a request and you have multiple ways to provide the solution. We use the proposal a lot in systems where there may be one system that may have one characteristic, another system that may have another, but ultimately they're all good products. We have to look at all the factors and consider those, price being one, but it's not the only factor being considered. The Rfq qualifications are where you have qualification-based approach. We use the advertising process that's the same as the formal process. Those are professional, like your architects, your engineers, could be legal in some cases, but that's a two-step process where we ask for the qualifications first, give us your qualification, and the most qualified firm then would provide proposals and costs to Dallas County to be reviewed by the client department. Next slide, please. So this threshold is a little more of a process and policy on how we do our business in Dallas County. Anything less than 50,000, as we mentioned earlier, we consider informal, but we know that's significant dollars. So less than 3,000 by policy and by law, you're not required to get more than one quote or one invoice for that. But we do use we use our online system for things less than 3,000 as well. So you have opportunities there, but it's not required. If it's an emergency, we can make the call and make that cut that purchase order relatively quick if necessary. But if it's not, we'll put it online on the system we're going to show you a little later, so you have an opportunity to compete for that. 3 to 50,000 by rule and by statute, we have to have quotes, obviously. So we'll go out in the market using our online system. If it's an emergency, we have 3 phone calls to get those quotes. And then the formal process, as you mentioned earlier, it's very rigid, and everything over $50,000 requires our board approval, and we have to show diligence to the commissioners before we move forward. Next slide, please. So this is a snapshot of our Dallas procurement website. And a lot of folks may not want to register with our third-party agency, but they can still see on our website here all of our formal bids. So anything that's a formal bid, in this case, I'm highlighting the Ryan White that's already closed, but it's just a slide that I had showing you that's available as a PDF document. You can click on the PDF and see the entire bid document, because we still will accept your bid documents in a paper format. But if you use our online system, it's a little easier for you to be notified of that and submit your proposal. But this is a slide, a page that I put on our website to make it easy for folks to see if they're interested before they register on the next slide. So next slide, please. Next slide shows all of our bidding opportunities. You'll see the blue highlight in the middle that shows the qualification. When you're registered, you simply click on that blue link and it'll take you into the site and take you to all the documents that are necessary, and allows you to submit your bids and quotes online without coming down to our offices or get a courier to bring it down to us. So that's important as we'll get further into some of our common issues here is things come late or you don't read the instructions. This system notifies you of all of our changes or any addendums or modifications to our specs. So it's very nice from that perspective. It's not requiring you to go look on our system and look and see if we made changes. So it's very, very intuitive. So we're going to highly recommend that you register with us. Next slide, please. So the most important part here is I want you to see it's free. It doesn't cost you anything to register with this BidSync platform. So when you register, of course, they're for profit. So they're going to ask if you want to upgrade your registration to see private businesses solicitations as well. You're not required to do so to see Dallas County solicitations. So, but they're trying to upsell, quite frankly. We pay a service to this database, so you have access to all of Dallas County's solicitations. You're able to see them, you're able to respond to them. You can ask questions inside this platform, but it's free. Next slide, please. So as a platform, they have over 90,000 agencies. Why it's important as a small or a minority-owned businesses to register is because you get to see other agencies and other bids that are out there for similar products that you're trying to sell. If you're in a commodity-based business and you want to sell to Dallas County, more than likely there's other public agencies that are buying the same product. So if you register here, you can see other public agencies for free. And if you want to register for a platinum or a premier, you can see private business. That's up to you and its business model. But you're allowed, as number 2 says, you're paperless. You don't have to do anything. You have to print nothing out here for Dallas County. You can submit everything electronic. You get all the notices of all the changes, as I mentioned, all the due dates, all the key dates. And as you log in, you can see the status of your submittal. If you're in the progress of submitting, it shows you all of that. So it's very, very nice to keep an easy way to keep up with the chronology of what's going on inside the process. And then at the end, number 5 says is you can look at different geographics. So if you want to look at just regional Texas, you can select Texas only. You can look at North Texas. You can look at Canada. You can look at all over their system. Allows you to, excuse me, look at other areas inside the actual country. Next slide, please. So there's this, I'm not going to spend time here because you have links here that show you how to submit electronic bids. And as I said on number 2 there, you can do paper bids. We highly encourage you to do electronic because it's easier for you and actually easier for the agency to get the electronic information. But you can, there's nice videos here that show you exactly how to submit a bid and how to work through that process. And as you're registering on our portal with BidSync, there's little video links that are in each area if you were to have questions that show you how to register. Next slide, please. So these are the things that I've been doing this for a few years, about 20 years or so in the leadership role. And as a purchasing director, there's some things that we see that happen a lot that are kind of tripwires when you do public agency bids or proposals. We're not like the private business. So if you've never worked with a government, we need to understand these are critical things for you to understand. Bid security. A lot of agencies ask for bid security. Dallas County, in my office, we're not asking for bid security unless it's required by law. It's typically going to be in construction. It's not going to be in goods and services. And we're not asking for bid security in those areas. A lot of public agencies will, so pay attention if you're doing any bids or solicitations with any public agency and see if they require bid security. Because if you do not do that simple task of doing the bid security, because it takes a little bit of time, you will be rejected at the beginning. So that's very critical. On the left side, number 2, the method of reward. And we may look at all or none. We want to hire one company to want to entire services, or we may say we're going to do it by line to allow you to pick and choose things you do really well, and or by group. I like to do it where I unbundle it to make it as small as possible so small businesses can actually do the work. We have to be practical with the unbundling, but we unbundle in areas such as janitorial. We could do one janitorial firm for the entire county. We have so many facilities that we use quadrants, certain sections. So you maybe can leverage an area that you have other business in those sections, but we allow you to bid on those independently as an example. And mowing as well, we do the same thing. So in the next, read instructions, obviously, read the information that's provided, make sure that this is a good opportunity to talk about not when you can joint venture or partner up with other businesses, because when you read the instructions and you read what we're looking for as an agency, maybe you don't have all of the capacity to do everything listed, but you may have an opportunity to bring in another partner. That's where your small businesses can come in to help you, and or your minority firms. Make sure that you can understand what you're being asked to do. So make sure you can deliver the product and the service, because as an agency, if you sign the dotted line and we take that and award that, we're going to expect you to do that service, obviously. And so we will do some diligence on that, but the attestation you sign is that you can deliver that product or services for the cost that you actually say you can do it for. We want to make sure that you understand that, because once we do that, that's a contract between you and us, and we expect that to be done. The bottom left is very, very important, probably the most important thing on this slide. Attend the pre-bid meeting. With the virtual meetings we have now, it makes it easier for you to actually attend versus running around in person to different public agencies, picking and choosing where you can go. So when you do the virtual pre-bid or in person, either way, there's a lot of opportunities there. The first opportunity, it's the one time you as a vendor can talk to the client departments who's going to be there. If I was working with facilities for something as an example, they will be there along with our SBE team talking about opportunities, and then the purchasing staff. It's the one time we're all allowed to talk to each other during the procurement process. That's very important if you have questions. It's very important if you want clarification. So we take all of those questions from a pre-bid meeting, we compile them with answers and send them back out using our online system so everybody can have the same information to make a decision on proposals or bids. But it's also an opportunity to show the other B2B type business that you're interested in doing business. So we have a list of all the attendees for every one of our pre-bid meetings, and we offer that to anybody that would like to have that with their contact information. So if they've taken the time to come in and listen to our discussion about the questions about the specifications, are probably interested in doing business with Dallas County on that solicitation. And if you're a sub or a prime, you may have an opportunity there to network. Top right, keeping up with the solicitation schedule. Obviously, it seems simple, but in my life, a lot of people come in at 2:15 when it's due at 2. We cannot accept that, and it's very, very difficult, but it happens, unfortunately, more than it should. And be very careful on the timing of when the agency has the requested bid closing date, because we have no latitude as an agency. Once it's posted, that's the one thing by law that says we cannot change. We have to keep to that date. So if we make a change to our due date, if we had anything different to the specifications, it's called an addendum. The addendum will go out automatically if you register with the online system as we make changes. So if we make a change to a specification based on a question that comes from a vendor and we agree we want to make a change, that change will be incorporated in the document and we email it out to everybody that's registered. So it's very important to register so you get all the information. If you don't register, that's fine, but you have to go look online yourself and keep up with that. But it's very important to make sure that you do that. Correct pricing sheets, unit of measures, just make sure that you understand. And if it's not clear from the agency standpoint, please ask questions. I review every question that goes out from a vendor before it goes back out from a response. I want to make sure it's clear what we're asking the vendors to do. Remember, we're trying to be open, fair, and clear and transparent. So when we're asking for something, we may think we're asking for in one way, and as an expert, you may have a different way. So you want to tell us that's not the industry standard, that's being restrictive, things of those nature, and we'll look at those specifications and see if we can modify them to make them less restrictive to encourage competition. Bonding requirements is another big one. So bonding is required in construction primarily. A lot of public agencies use bonding in other areas. Dallas County does not. I removed all bonding requirements outside of what's required by law because we understand bonding as a form of insurance is something that sometimes is a barrier doing business with public agencies. So the bonding is very important, and there's a lot of great agencies out there that do bonding support. The Small Business Administration does as well, but you need to understand the bonding requirements on any of the construction projects that we do. Another opportunity here, this is an opportunity for a real joint venture. A legal joint venture, in a lot of cases, you'll see a lot of large construction jobs with a couple of joint ventures coming together because they want to create a unique, separate legal entity to take on that bonding risk and opportunity. Because if you're in business as a construction company, you don't want to have one project taking up all your capacity and you can't do any other work. So you'll see a lot of real opportunities for joint ventures to come together, leverage that, provide a good product to the agency, and be able to come together and gain capacity. So bonding is very important. Pay attention to that. If you have any questions on that, or if you think the bonding requirements are too high, you can always ask questions. Complete and return your documents on time. That's a very simple task. If you follow the online procurement process, they will email you and keep you in line with the timeframes. And then have a competitive bid. We will give you pricing. If we have a long-term contract for mowing, and we're going to go back out in the market for mowing, we will provide you the pricing of our current contract because we want you to be competitive. We want you to see the margins that we have inside of Dallas County with the other competitors in the market, because as a public agency, it's open record anyway. So we will provide that information on commodities that we have bought in the past to show you in the market what the cost is that we're paying and see where your margins are so you can make a good bid. Next slide, please. Here's a couple of, just an idea of what we would buy and what we have out now. And I'm not going to go through all the list, but you can see we have a lot of different items, lamps and ballasts, so light bulbs for facilities, HVAC filters at the bottom. Next slide, please. Armed and unarmed security guards, a large contract, $7 million. So if somebody's in the security guard business, obviously that's a good opportunity. And you have a $2 million fuel program that's coming up here soon. Towing services. So there's a little bit of everything. Even if you don't provide the services, you may know somebody that is in that business, and feel free to share that with them. Next slide, please. There's a couple others there that we have coming up here. Next slide, please. We have a major capital improvement program, and Dr. Garcia, she's the chairman of the Facility Management Committee, and under her leadership, this organization in Dallas County has spent significant dollars over the last few years improving in facilities and building new facilities. And our Public Works Department manages this program, and this slide's a little bit aged as of March, but you can see there's a number of projects that are listed here that are sizable projects. You have the Wildlife Parkway, State Highway 161 in Beltline. That's $35 million estimate. That's a large project going out. Then we have another one that's Cockrell Hill, Singleton. That's a $10 million project. So there's sizable projects in the construction that we're going out. And these are just items on the list. There's additional items that are coming through on a daily basis that are smaller than this. So just if you register with us in the commodities that you're interested, you'll receive the notices for those. Next slide, please. So as Mr. Crawford mentioned earlier, this is as an SBE department, we're committed to increasing our spend with small and minority-owned businesses. So we have that the court takes it very, very seriously. They ask questions on every agenda item on participation levels. Do we have any available small businesses in the market? And the notification process we're using to try to educate the vending community. So this is one of our commitments we have. We have laws we have to buy from the lowest bidder, but we also have other policies that are trying to encourage small businesses. We really want you to get the word out to everybody that we are open for business. We want small businesses to apply for any of our construction jobs or proposals. We want you to partner up, and I want you to be a prime. So we want you to grow and take the small opportunities I've seen that be very successful. When we have all of our small dollar stuff online to do business with Dallas County, if you never worked with the public agencies, take some of the small solicitations of $15,000, $20,000, understand how to do business, see our payment schedule, and get familiar with us, and then grow and use that leverage and experience to grow as an organization. Next slide, please. As a small business, our policies only allow us, this is a good segue into our certification agencies, to count 3 certification agencies. Count means you could be a small business. If you're not registered with one of these 3 businesses, our policies, we cannot use that as for our participation. So it's the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council, who's on today, and North Central Texas Regional Certification Agency, and the Women's Business Council Southwest. So we really encourage you, if you're not a registered small business or minority-owned business, to get with one of these agencies and go through the process. It's another opportunity for you to have a subset of information going out. As an example, if I have a project going out tomorrow, I will go with the small business team and ask for a list of subcontractors that are certified by these regional certifications agencies, and they will provide that list to my team. We'll send that out to the market. So we can say here's some available small businesses that are in the commodities we think that are subcontractor opportunities. So that's another opportunity to be a prime or a sub, but you want to be on that list because we're providing a list of only the certified folks out to the primes or to anybody in the market. And you must be in the local metropolitan statistical area, which we count Dallas County, Tarrant County, Denton County, and Collin County. You have to be inside those 4 county areas, and you have to be certified with 3 firms. Okay, well, I'm going to turn it over to Andrew Nash, Director of Operations, Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council.
Hey, 124 people.
All right, thank you, Mike, and for that great presentation as always. Thank you for your support. Want to welcome Jesse Crawford to Dallas County. Great person. Jesse's been around for a while, and he understands MBE, SBE, and those. So again, welcome. We look forward, and I want to thank Dr. Elba Garcia for inviting us. Always a true advocate of the council for all the work that she's done, making sure there's inclusion. So again, I'm Andrew Nash. I'm Director of Operations with the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council. We're a national organization headquartered out in New York with 23 affiliate councils, and we're really responsible for the North Texas area. So we provide 3 certifications if you get certified through us. We provide a nationally recognized MBE certification. So if you're doing business not only with Dallas County, you're looking to do business with City of Dallas, City of Fort Worth, maybe PepsiCo, AT&T, any of those entities, you have a certification you can take. The second certification we do, we have a memorandum of understanding with the state of Texas. So if you're not already state of Texas historically underutilized business certified, or what we all know as the state of Texas hub certification, you automatically get that by going through our certification. Last, but definitely not the least, and what's important to Dallas County, we do the small business enterprise, or the SBE certification that you've been hearing about today. So again, all those certifications that you get with us. Again, we certify ethnic minority companies, so you have to be in one of the qualifying groups to be certified, have to have at least 51% control, ownership, and management of the company. You have to be a U.S. citizen, and we are fee-based. There's a small fee to be certified with our organization. So not only do we do certification and what's important to you with SBE, we do a lot of different events to connect you with the suppliers. As Mike said, we will connect you there. We do an event we call Hard Hat, that's all construction. We just had that at the Dallas Convention Center this year. Great turnout. We have different events, Access, ISD Day that comes up, where we do one in Fort Worth and one in Dallas. But again, we're here for your connection. And just to talk about our certification process, once you certify, we say it takes up to 90 days to be certified. But what you're going to do is submit an application. We're going to review it. It's going to go in front of our certification committee. We're going to do a site visit. We do 100% site visits on all of our applications just to make sure we come out, meet you, find out what you do. It goes in front of our board for approval. You have an hour orientation as you join our organization, so we can tell you how to best utilize your certification, introduce you to some of our corporate members and our entities that talk about how to get on their list. And again, we're there as a resource. We run an MBDA center as well. So if you're looking to do contracting on the government side, we can help you on that way as well. And even part of that, there's a lot of benefits. We're getting ready to do a 8A certification workshop where if you're certified with the council, we're going to bring in SBA. They're going to go step by step through the application process over 4 weeks, and it costs you absolutely nothing. It's a free service for being part of the council. So there's a lot of events like that that we do. So there's other certification that's there. I tell everybody, you know, again, we're one of the certifications, the North Central Texas Regional Certification Agency. They do MBE, SBE, as well as DBE. So again, I always tell everyone, you know, they always ask which certification is right. The first thing I say is look at your customer, figure out which, you know, who you're trying to do business with and which certification they take. And then that should help guide you to the certification. I would tell you there's nothing wrong with having all the certifications. So if you want to do MBE through us, go to NCTRCA, get your DBE certification, and then even go through the Women's Council. If you're a women-owned business, get the Women's Business Council, because a lot of our folks that are there are going through, they have access to each of the different entities. So again, you may meet a certain person at our event, but you may meet a certain person at a different event. So again, all certifications are good. So at this time, I'm gonna turn it over to my great friend at the Women's Business Council, Miss Anita Steele. We're always together on different events, and it's always great to share the stage with her. Miss Anita Steele.
Thank you, Andrew. And I just want to say it's great to be here today. Commissioner Garcia, thank you so much for inviting us to participate. And Jesse, it's great to see you again. And thank you for the warm welcome. So the Women's Business Council Southwest has been providing WBE certification for over 25 years. We are a regional partner organization for organization called Wbe. It's WBENC. Wbe is the most widely recognized WBE certification in the country. So in addition to the WBE certification, like the Minority Council, we also offer hub certification for contracting with the state of Texas, WOSB certification for contracting with federal agencies, and the SBE certification that Dallas County is looking for. So we provide certification for women-owned businesses. The criteria to qualify as a woman-owned business or a women's business enterprise is that you are 51% or more women-owned. The female owner must also have control of the organization according to her legal documents and legal structure. And she must manage the day-to-day operations. So when you are interested in becoming WBE certified, there's a lot of information on our website about the criteria and the documents required and the process. But you would begin the process by going online at wbekelink.org, submitting your application along with the documents required. Once we receive that, like the Minority Council, our processes are very similar. We will present your eligibility to our certification review committee, and then we'll do a site visit. We do site visits on 100% of our new applicants, and then we repeat the site visit every 3 years. Right now, we're doing all of our site visits virtually due to the pandemic. I don't know how much longer, we'll continue to do that, but for the foreseeable future, all site visits are being done virtually. So that's in a nutshell the certification process. Again, there's a lot of information on our website, including a webinar that's available for you to watch from any location, anytime. That'll give you a little more detailed information. But one of the things that I want to highlight today is not just the certification, but also the networking opportunities. We have over 80 corporate members at the local level. We represent Central and North Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico. And then we have over 200 corporations at the national level that source our databases for their supplier diversity purposes. And so that's a great step for getting your foot in the door with these corporations. Our events offer you opportunities to network with them, but our events are designed to offer programming that's educational, that might help you grow your business, but networking opportunities, not with just the corporations, but also with your fellow WBEs. Many of our members do business with each other, so that's an additional opportunity. So we would love for you to give us a call or send us an email if you have specific questions about your particular organization, or if you have some additional questions about the certification process or the benefits of certification. And again, thank you very much for allowing us to join you today.
Anita, I put my information in the chat. You may want to just do the same thing. Thank our president, Margot J. Posey. She's in the chat answering some questions there. So thank Margot. Margot J. Posey is the president of the council, and she's online in there. So if you see her in the chat replying to some of the questions, thank you, Margot, for being there. But again, the council, the Women's Business Council, we're definitely great supporters of Dallas County. We're excited again to see Jesse on board. And Mike Frost, thank you for all that you do and the leadership there, Dr. Elba Garcia, everything you do. And we're here to answer any questions. So if anyone has questions for myself or any of the panelists, we're here. So I don't know who's doing that. Dr. Garcia, is that you? There you go.
Thank you so much. Of course, thank you, Mr. Nash. Thank you, Mr. Frost, Mrs. Steele. It's great to see you. And yes, We have opened the chat. Is the icon that is at the bottom of your screen with a little blue dot. Please send us your questions. If we don't have time to answer today, someone will contact you and responding to some of them. So please, I mean, the chat is open now. We're looking for some of the questions. So far we only have some comments, but if not, you can raise your hand and we will unmute you so you can ask your questions. Thank you again, Mr. Crawford, for being with us. And I don't see any questions at this point. Let me ask.
I don't see any questions in the Q&A. Scanning through the chat, but if you have questions, please enter those in the Q&A tab. Click the three dots in the bottom right and then click on Q&A. You can enter your question there.
I know Margot answered one question someone asked about the site visits. Currently, because we are still in the COVID protocols and everything, we are doing those site visits virtual. And Anita, are you guys doing the same thing?
Yes. All of our site visits are being done virtually for the foreseeable future. That might change at the end of the year. It's WBE is determining that on a national basis. So it's kind of month by month right now.
All right, thanks.
Okay, I see one question. Is MBE is MBE amount as far as certification concerned, and location of your business will reside in Dallas? Yes or no?
Yes, for our certification, we have 23 affiliate councils throughout the United States. So here, the DFW MSDC, we certify the folks in the North Texas area. So if you're somewhere else, if you're in Houston, we have a council down there. If you're in San Antonio or Austin, we have a council there. So just reach out to me, let me know where you're at, and I can point you to the council.
This question is from Larry Hall. Do you only award based on lowest price, or do you do best value as well? We do both. I mean, that's the answer to that question.
We do both. Good answer. We do both. We do it based on the lowest bidder in some cases, and the proposal process uses other criteria as well. So yes, cost is one of the elements, but it's not the only element. It's more of what you consider best value. Yes.
Okay. Let's see. I don't have any others right now. I think so far we have answered the questions that we have gotten.
I believe there are a couple of questions that are in the actual chat, so I'm trying to get those moved over to the Q&A. So if you've asked a question in the chat, please do move that over to the Q&A section so that we can get that answered and make it part of the record here.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan.
Yeah, there was one question from I believe it's Tijuana, who asks, are we required to have a DUNS number? I am having issues obtaining one. So the answer is you're not required to have one, from our perspective. Anita or Andrew, would you like to comment any further?
Yes, for federal contracting, for the Wbe certification, you would be required to have a DUNS number.
Yeah, and a DUNS number helps. You have to have at least the EIN for the certification, because we went away from taking people's social security numbers just because of the because of identity theft and different things. So you have to have at least the EIN, but the DUNS number is optional unless you're doing any of the federal contract and 8A and different things. Then you would have to have a DUNS number.
Thank you, Mr. Nash. Will this presentation be made available to everybody? Yes, definitely we can make it available. It will be posted in dallascounty.org as well as my Elba Garcia county website. So we will do that today. Anyone else?
Huh? Yeah.
Well,
There are a few other questions coming in the Q&A now. The next one I see is, we're private investors and provide us asset recovery services solutions. What's the requirement or process to submit our asset recovery service solutions proposal to assist in recovering or collecting outstanding assets that belong to you? Who would be the most appropriate person to submit a proposal to or talk with regarding our self-initiated recovery proposal?
Yeah, Mike's going to answer that. 1 second.
This is Mike Frost. You can send any unsolicited proposal to my office. And my email's on our Dallas County website, which is michael.frosh@dallascounty.org. You can submit that to me. Obviously, when you register with our system, it'll notify you of any of our opportunities that are commodity based. But if you have something that you think is unique, that may be something that the Dallas County departments may need or could use, feel free to send it to me, and I can share that with the respective department.
another question. Do you do public events? If you are invited to speak to a group, can you come? From Bob Williams.
Yeah, this is Jesse. So my team exists for the explicit purpose of educating and training the public on how to conduct business with Dallas County. So yes, you can reach out to us. We would consider those opportunities. Obviously, we want to reach as many people as we can. Ensure that you're not only educated and informed, but that you have the ability to put your best foot forward from a competitive advantage standpoint. So yes, reach out to us. I also see another question from Linda S. Gray, Commissioner. Did you see that one? Mr. Crawford, you stated that you must be certified with one of the noted certification agencies. Are there exceptions to this rule, or is this rule highly enforced? And the answer to that is, as we outlined, not only on our website, but throughout all of our materials, we accept the NCTRCA, as well as our partners with DFW, MSDC, and the Women's Business Council Southwest. Those are the certification agencies that we have that are approved through our Commissioner's Court, and we recognize through our program.
Also, are sole proprietors able to participate?
Yes.
If a company is already designated SBE with another agency outside of the DFW area, will it help streamline the SBE designation?
Is a question for clarification. Will it help streamline the certification process with our 3 recognized agencies? Anita, I'll allow you and Andrew to answer that.
Not necessarily. It would depend on what agency it was. For example, if it was, we do the WBE certification through WeBank. If you were certified through another WeBank regional partner organization, you could, and you relocated your headquarters to this area, you could transfer your certification. But we don't have any arrangements for automatic certification for companies that are certified with a different agency.
Also, do you advertise solicitations through Texas Comptroller Electronic State Business Daily? Mr. Frosh?
We advertise formally in the commercial record, and we advertise on our online platform as solicitations come out. So any small dollar item goes out daily. Anything that's formal goes out once a week. Yes.
Okay. I see we are a hub certified business. If we want to submit larger projects, the certification or hub certification is required. I believe that is true.
Yes, it is.
Okay. And then can we respond in the chat and name again the 3 agencies that are the certification that provides the certification? That's the other one. And yes, we will provide that in a minute again.
Yes. And it's within the body of the presentation. We have those agencies identified. But again, just for the record here, it's NCTRCA, the Women's Business Council Southwest, as well as the DFW Minority Supplier Development Council.
Okay, those are the questions that I see right now. Mr. Crawford, do you see any others?
Let's see. There was a question, I believe it came from Ebony Moffitt regarding what about accounting firms? So we do business with accounting firms. I'm looking for his mic. He's nodding his head. Yes, we do business with accounting firms. So I don't know if that was a specific question, but the answer to that is yes, we are business with accounting. Right.
I see one more from Ms. Linda Gray. My firm has a DBE from another state. Do I need to change it to one of the ones that we just mentioned?
Yes, if you're doing business with Dallas County, we encourage you to again go through those certifications because we actually look for suppliers in our metropolitan area, and we have a local preference.
Okay, well, I think that seeing no more questions, I want to thank everyone that joined us today. We have more than 130 participants at one point. Thank you, Mr. Crawford, Mike Frosch, Mr. Nash, and of course, Ms. Steele, for everything you do for all of us, for your time and your effort, and always willing to help small business enterprises to make business with Dallas County. Like everybody mentioned, we're open to business. We want to be sure that minority participation is part of every single vote that we take, and the opportunity more than anything, and the inclusion for everyone in Dallas County bidding process. So with that, I will give the screen one more time to Mr. Crawford to close. Thank you again. And if you have any small businesses that would like to have this information, please send us your email. We'll be more than happy to send it. And remember, after this presentation, we will have one in Spanish. Same way, same process. If Spanish is your first language or is the way that you make business, we will be here to make that presentation. If you still have some more questions, put them in the question and answer, and someone will contact you. Mr. Crawford, thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. And as it was stated earlier, your advocacy and your champion of our cause is unparalleled, and we really appreciate you for that, and for your staff as well. I want to close by wrapping up and thanking Mr. Frosch and his entire team in the purchasing department. I want to also thank the members of the DFW MSDC Council, the Women's Business Council Southwest, and that includes their presidents, the great Margot Posey. Thank you for joining us in the chat and answering some of those questions as well. I want to thank the advisory board members. I saw a few on the chat session. And then especially I want to thank you, the members of the Dallas business community who took time out of your day today to be here with us. We are open for business. Looking forward to meeting you. And last but not least, I want to thank my team who helped work and coordinate this entire event. So thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day and week. And we're open for business. Looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford. And we also want to recognize my staff, Mr. Brooks Love, Noemi Gonzalez, Blanca Torres, and of course our IT department, Aaron White, which is in the queue with us. And we could never do it without you. And all the SB staff as well. Thank you. You all have a great day. Hasta luego.
Bye.